Hello, and welcome to another video. Today, I am back, and I've got another EDH deck to share with you. This is a mono green, hexproof themed deck led by Toski, Bearer of Secrets. So, I believe our commander is the only squirrel in this deck, unfortunately. But if you are interested in seeing a squirrel-themed commander deck, I do have a previous video on a Chatterfang commander deck, which I will link to from this video if you would like to check that out as well. But for this one, like I mentioned, it is focusing mostly on hexproof and a lot of enchantments. So let's start out by taking a look at Toski, Bearer of Secrets. 3 green for a 1/1 legendary creature, squirrel. This spell can't be countered. Indestructible. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, attacks each combat, if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So that is what we are working with for the commander. I know 4 mana seems pretty expensive, especially for just a 1/1, but it's really this card draw effect that we're after here, especially since it affects all of our creatures. So we're ultimately trying to make all of our creatures very difficult to deal with, and also drawing a lot of cards so that we can get on through and win the game. So yeah, I will take out the rest of the deck here and let's start going through. All right. So we are going to start out with the creatures first. Silhana Ledgewalker is 1 and a green for a 1/1 elf rogue. It can't be blocked except by creatures with flying, and can't be targeted by spells or abilities your opponents control. So effectively hexproof with some good evasion there. Thrun the Last Troll. 2 green for a 4/4 legendary troll shaman that can't be countered, can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and has regenerate for 1 and a green. Vine Mare is 2 green green for a 5/3 elemental horse with hexproof and can't be blocked by black creatures. Siege Behemoth is 5 green green for a 7/4 beast with hexproof, and as long as it is attacking for each creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So this one is very useful for drawing cards when you've got Toski out. Carnage Tyrant is 4 green green for a 7/6 dinosaur that can't be countered and has trample and hexproof. And for the last of the creatures that have hexproof on their own is Dungrove Elder, 2 green for a star treefolk with hexproof. Dungrove Elder's power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests you control. So, as a mono green deck, I'm sure you can imagine there are quite a few forests in the lands here. And then some utility creatures, starting with Eternal Witness. 1 green green for a 2/1 human shaman. When it comes into play, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Verduran Enchantress is 1 green green for a 0/2 enchantress that draws a card each time you cast an enchantment. Eidolon of Blossoms is 2 green green for a 2/2 enchantment creature spirit with whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Citizen Champion is 2 and a green for a 1/3 human warrior. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Citizen Champion and draw a card. Reclamation Sage is 2 and a green for a 2/1 elf shaman. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Acidic Slime is 3 green for a 2/2 ooze with Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. This is Tajuru Preserver. One and a green for a 2/1 Elf Shaman. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. Nylia's Colossus is 6 and a green for a 6/6 enchantment creature giant. Whenever it or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Beanstalk Giant is 6 and a green for a star giant. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control, and it has Fertile Footsteps, which is 2 and a green for a sorcery adventure. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Nylia, God of the Hunt, is 3 and a green for a 6/6 legendary enchantment creature god with Indestructible. When your devotion is less than 5, she isn't a creature. Other creatures you control have trample. And 3 and a green, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And then our final creature, just for fun and a bit of an alternative win con, although it is still very much motivated by hexproof and dealing damage to players, we have Ickerclaw Mirror. It is 2 for a 1/1 artifact creature mirror with Infect, and whenever it becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So that is all for the creatures. Next up, we have instants and sorceries. So our first few spells here are the ramp spells. We have Sylvan Scrying, 1 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Kodama's Reach is 2 and a green for a sorcery arcane. Search your library for 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards and put one into play tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Cultivate is basically the exact same thing. Migration Path is 3 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, with cycling 2. Starting out with some removal, we've got Beast Within, 2 and a green for an instant. Destroy target permanent. Its controller puts a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Frozen Grip is 2 and a green for an instant with split second. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. And one of my all-time favorite cards, Berserk, green for an instant. Cast Berserk only before the combat damage step. Target creature gains trample and gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is its power. At the beginning of the next end step, destroy that creature if it attacked this turn. And moving on, we have Regrowth, 1 and a green for a sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And similarly, we have Balaged Recovery, 2 and a green for a sorcery. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And is otherwise a land that produces green. Rofellos' Gift is green for a sorcery. Reveal any number of green cards in your hand. Return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand for each card revealed this way. Court of Calling is X green 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 for an instant with Convoke. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Harmonize is 2 green green for a sorcery. Draw 3 cards. Heroic Intervention, 1 green for an instant. permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Ranger's Guile. Green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Primal Bellow. Green for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest you control. Blossoming Defense. Green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Invigorating Surge. 2 green for an instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Return of the Wild Speaker. 4 green for an instant. Choose 1. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. Blessing of Frost. 3 green for a snow sorcery. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So, all of the basic land in this deck are actually snow lands, so that we can get the maximum payoff from this card. And that is all for the instants and sorcery spells. Coming up next, we are moving on to enchantments, but we are continuing the theme that we've been looking at with the last few spells, with improving creature power and toughness, granting creatures hexproof and things like that. Alright, so first up for enchantments, we've got Hydra's Growth. 2 and a green for an aura. Enchant creature. When Hydra's Growth enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on enchanted creature. Citizen Training. 1 green for an aura. Enchant creature you control. When Citizen Training enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has trample. Spider Umbra. Green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has reach. And it has the Umbra armor ability, which is formerly known as totem armor, as we see here. Snake Umbra. 2 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. And Umbra armor. Blanchwood armor. 2 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Rancor. Green for an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. When Rancor is put into a graveyard from play, return Rancor to its owner's hand. Bear Umbra. 2 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has, whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. And Umbra armor. Ancestral Mask. 2 green for an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each other enchantment in play. Vow of Wilderness. 2 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3, has trample, and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. Boar Umbra. 2 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3, and it has Umbra armor. Prodigious growth. 4 green for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +7/+7 and has trample. Song of the Dryads. 2 green for an aura. Enchant permanent. Enchanted permanent is a colorless forest land. Abundant growth. Green for an aura. Enchant land. When abundant growth enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted land has tap. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Wild growth. Green for an aura. Enchant land. Basically, when you tap the enchanted land for mana, it produces an additional green. Sylvan Library. 1 green for an enchantment. You draw 2 extra cards during your draw phase, and if you do, put 2 of the cards drawn this way back on top of your library, unless you pay 4 life per card. Enchantress's Presence. 2 green for an enchantment. Whenever you play an enchantment, draw a card. Seal of Primordium. 1 green for an enchantment. Sacrifice Seal of Primordium. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. And that is our final enchantment. Next up, we are on to the artifacts. So, kicking off the artifacts, we have Trailblazer's Boots. 2 for an equipment. Equipped creature has non-basic landwalk. Equip 2. So for commander, your opponents are almost certainly going to have non-basic lands out. So this is a great way to make sure your creatures are able to get through to deal that combat damage. Fire Shrieker. 3 foreign equipment. Equipped creature has double strike. Equip 2. And this is our Sword of Vengeance. 3 foreign equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Equip 3. Loxodon Warhammer. 3 foreign equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0, has trample, and whenever this creature deals damage, you gain that much life. Equip 3. Commander's Plate. 1 foreign equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. Equip Commander 3 and equip 5. So definitely very useful in a monocolored deck, and again very useful for evading creatures as long as they aren't green. Strata Scythe. 3 foreign equipment with imprint. When Strata Scythe enters the battlefield, search your library for a land card. Exile it, then shuffle. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as the exiled card. Equip 3. So obviously we would be getting our snow-covered forest here, because there are quite a lot of them. Blackblade Reforged. 2 for a legendary equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Equip legendary creature for 3 or equip 7. Helm of the Gods is 1 for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and equips for 1. And of course we have Soul Ring, which is 1 for an artifact that taps for 2 colorless mana. An Emerald Medallion, which is 2 for an artifact that makes your green spells cost 1 less to cast. Expedition Map is 1 for an artifact, search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, is a legendary land that taps for 1 colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap it to add colored mana equal to your devotion of a chosen color. Reliquary Tower gives you no maximum hand size and taps for a colorless. Very useful to have when you're drawing a lot of cards. Rogue's Passage taps for a colorless, or you pay for and tap it to give target creature unblockable until end of turn. Tyrite Sanctum taps for a colorless, or has 2 tap. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types, and you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then 4 tap, sacrifice Tyrite Sanctum, put an indestructible counter on target god. Bonder's Enclave taps for a colorless, or has 3 tap, draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. War Room taps for a colorless, or has 3 tap, pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity, and draw a card. So just 1 life for Toski, which is a pretty good deal. Homeward Path taps for a colorless mana, or taps to have each player gain control of all creatures they own. And I believe that is all for the non-basic land cards. Everything else is just a snow-covered forest. There we have it. So that is a rundown of every card that is in this Toski Bearer of Secrets commander deck. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And I'm curious to know if this is a commander that you have built around. I think there is a lot of opportunity for a mono green deck, and a variety of ways that you could treat this commander. So yeah, I'd like to know what other people's interpretations are. Let's chat down in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would hit that thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll be back with new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Monday and Friday. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.